So this is why people quit, is because they're having to deal with, these gender role issues and, all of this stuff. It's becoming more and more common for parents, and they realize that their kids don't want to play under these circumstances.
Men go mad.
He's gone mad.
Madmen.
You're mad.
The man's mad.
Madmen.
I'm mad.
What's up, Salim? How's it going?
So, Adil, Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year. We're like 7 days in, man. I follow Larry David's rule. We don't say Happy New Year after like the first 3 days.
Oh, is that?
It is a Happy New Year, actually, though. We, our boy Samir is officially a new dad, and is a new dad to twins, Naomi and Elijah. Welcome to the world. They were born right before the new year, so just in time to claim them as dependents for 2023. Good timing, guys.
Good job, Samir. Right on time, boy. Congratulations to you and your wife. It'll be fun. Luckily, you decided to get them both knocked out at once, while me and Adil paced them out a little bit. So we'll see which one was a better decision in a few years.
This is how you guys look walking around with the Stanley.
Is that what
This is how you guys look walking around with Stanley. Yeah, I see your Stanley. This is how everyone looks with those 40-ounce Stanleys. They look like they're walking around with the trash can. Well, Stanley's done again. Shoppers started lining up at 3 a.m. to get the new Target and Stanley collab Valentine's Cup. Many stores were like sold out in minutes, dude. It was nuts. And Starbucks, on the other hand, did the exact same thing. They also launched a pink Stanley collab, and similar reaction. And trust me, Starbucks needs it right now. So some collabs are a stretch, but it seems like Stanley's figured out their sweet spot when they're doing collaborations. They're doing it with the right outlet. So what are we thinking? Is it a dud or stud?
If I haven't said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, guys. Great things happen when marketing has a seat at the table, or in this case, when the president is a former CMO. It wasn't just plain luck that Stanley President Terrence Rowley made that response video, the burning. I'm sure you've all seen it, right? The burning video car. The Stanley's there with the ice still in it. I mean, the thing went viral. He responded back, and it just took Stanley off the charts, right? This is the same guy that was the CMO of Crocs and put ugly ass Crocs on people's feet, including Bad Bunny and Justin Bieber. I mean, and now he's going into hype culture with these, collabs and these drops and these limited amounts. I mean, look at the numbers. Just the numbers itself talks about it, right? In 2019, Stanley was doing 74 million. This past year, they did 750 million. Now, that's one of the most remarkable company turnarounds in history. So here's why it's a stud, right? The frenzy, the overnight lines, the camping outside Target for a water bottle. It's a testament to Stanley's newfound culture revelation. When Terrence Rowley has done, it's not just not market a product. He's created this movement, and marketers need to understand what he's doing with these products, right? He understands the pulse of the market. He understands the dynamics, the power of social proof, and then the ability to turn that around quickly and act on it is a testament of marketers being at the seat of the table. And Stanley's just struck gold. And their rise is well orchestrated. It's a symphony of multiple things hitting at the same time, at the right place. So in my books, this is definitely one for the charts. There's going to be case studies done on this thing. It's becoming a cultural icon more than just a thermos. So definitely stud in my books, guys.
Yeah, honestly, I think stud too, man. I'm not gonna. There's no way to go dud on this. Stanley's figured it out, and they. I still remember when it first went viral. It was those moms that on TikTok that talked about how they love the big handle and how much water they can drink and it fits in their cup holder and this and that. Those are just like very utilitarian things about it. And then they went to the route of having multiple colors and everything, and they really hit it on the head, man. Like they've figured it out. I still can't help but think that I was not a believer at first, man. I thought this is just going to be a fad. And you can't really blame me because we saw what happened with Hydro Flask like 3 years ago. The Christmas season, Hydro Flask was everywhere. And then you had the coldest water bottle. Those are good friends of mine. They were huge in 2020. with the start of TikTok and everything, and people were talking about coldest constantly. We've seen this. Even Yeti had its own moment, but this is not just a moment. I think it's like Stanley is a 110-year-old brand, and they've had such a crazy resurgence. They're America's sweetheart now. I think it's going to take a lot to jump off the Stanley ship. Um, and these moments of anticipation is what really is what makes money. And when brands have figured out how to talk to their raving fans, uh, they're set for life. So I totally agree. This is totally the act of a CMO becoming CEO role, and your point is proven. More CMOs need to get CEO roles.
Do you know there's this? You can go get the Stanley Starbucks on StockX right now. So they're basically like shoes now. Like you got a $200 Stanley cup that probably retails for like $45 on StockX for $200. It's insane.
Yeah, no, 300 for the Target one on eBay. It's
oh,
nuts.
look at that! See, I mean, it's insane, and I think they're going to get more collabs in place, and I think they're gonna take a book at a Nike, Nike's page and say, hey, look, let's continue to do more collab. That's how they're going to grow, right? Exclusivity, and it's interesting, right? I don't know, like I agree with you, right? They've got this culture icon thing now going, and you look at the Yetis and you look at the other ones, they peaked, and then they didn't know how to get past the peak, right? The numbers always capped out at a certain level. And I think they've got something that's building on and saying, hey, look, we have opportunity to do more, right? I talked about the accessories, right? The little cap on the straws and all those other things. And those are just things in pipeline, right? So they've got other ways to make money outside of the traditional cup. And, it's going to be a big thing in accessorizing. And also the audience is right? The audience is focused. They picked the audience and they went straight to that audience and say, hey, look, this is mainly women, young girls that are in it. And
suburban moms and their kids.
And they stuck to it, which is phenomenal. Like finally get in your lane. We're not going to talk about the other company that's going out the other way, maybe later. But they found their lane and they're going to stick to it.
Yeah. And kudos to Target and Starbucks for picking up on this. Walmart's probably kicking themselves for not, doing something similar. But I mean, Target moms is where it's at. That's where things like this flourish. And the Stanley is a fashion accessory now, man.
In what seems like Peloton's last grasping breath, they are going all in on daring partnerships with TikTok. Venturing into the rapid currents of social media commerce, Peloton is set to produce short-form fitness videos on TikTok, including live classes, celebrity collaborations, and influencer partnerships under the branding TikTok Fitness powered by Peloton. This marks Peloton's first foray into creating custom content for a platform other than its own and representing a strategic move into social media-driven e-commerce. I mean, this is all good for Peloton because it's giving a new avenue to drive revenue and relevance, just like we talked about earlier with Stanley, but the opposite, Peloton is lacking cultural reference. They even recently did a collab with Lululemon. Here's what's in it for TikTok. I think my guess is that it's going to a subscription model allowing TikTok to enhance their e-commerce drive, and fitness being one of the largest drivers in TikTok content is a natural idea to try to generate more of it. The stock price alone jumped 133% for Peloton on this announcement. But what do you think, Adil? Dud or stud?
I think this is a stud. This is a no-brainer for TikTok. So why this makes so much sense for TikTok is because they're really making a big push on long-form content now. I think TikTok has a monetization problem that not many people talk about. I mean, for the platform the size that it is, they should be doing a lot more in revenue. And what is getting a little frustrating about TikTok, it's pretty well known, is as you doom scroll, all you see now are just these TikTok shop videos, and it's really affected the enjoyment of the app. But they're realizing that in short form content, you don't get much ad exposure, and people don't want to, brands don't want to pay as much as they pay maybe YouTube to for brand exposure. You can skip an ad in TikTok very easily as well. So they definitely realize, like, okay, we need to try these 30-minute videos now, and so this makes perfect sense. I mean, you go on YouTube, you're probably going to watch like a TED talk for 30 minutes. You may watch some other fun content, vlogging content or something, or you may do a fitness class. And this could just be one segment of their 30-minute content exposure that they're trying to do. So, so it makes total sense. I don't know what that's going to do to the subscribers on Peloton. Like I used to be a subscriber on Peloton. If I was subscribing now, I probably wouldn't anymore because I would just set up my phone and do a 30-minute class for free now on TikTok, right? Like why would I pay 45 or 50 bucks a month to Peloton anymore? Peloton does need this. This is the lifeline that they probably do need right now. It seems like the market is responding well to this as well, which is a good sign for Peloton. And TikTok Live is a really good avenue. If you get Alex Toussaint, Cody Rigsby, Ali Love, these famous Peloton faces to go live on TikTok and do a class and build that engagement, it'd be so amazing. So it could be really, really good for Peloton. I think this is stud.
Do you think this is, I guess, is TikTok now saying that they've outdone like Meta and Instagram and all those guys, and now we're going to move into like the YouTube world? Like, is that what this move is? Do you think, or is that where you think TikTok is going? Is that like we've passed like we're way above Instagram and all those guys? Let's just move on and let's go after Google.
You know, I don't know, because we've talked about TikTok so many times on the show in different ways, where we said that, oh, they're going to go after grocery delivery. And then we're saying they're going after YouTube. And then we're saying the TikTok shop is going to replace Shopify and, Amazon. And it feels like so many different angles. And I'm not necessarily overwhelmed with it yet, but I feel like at some point I will be. And that might be something TikTok eventually regrets, is trying to do too much. I mean,
so let's take a step back and consider the reality of the situation that we're in with Peloton and TikTok, right? So Peloton, once a darling of the pandemic history, they were, during the home fitness boom, they were big, right? They were the biggest thing because everybody was home, but they've been struggling to regain that footing. The brand, which has not seen profitability since 2020, is showing signs of wear. Despite improving their bottom burn rate, they still consumed $74 million in the last quarter of 2023, and net losses have stacked up against 8 consecutive quarters, reaching a staggering total of about $1.9 billion in loss, right? So they really need a win here, right? I don't know if this is going to be it, right? Now, let's take it to TikTok, right? Why is TikTok doing this? The platform is known for quick and catchy content, not exactly the place you're going to go for immense fitness class or long-term commitment, in my opinion, right? I'm not going there to go get long-term classes or working out, but then again, maybe I'm not the clientele. But the very nature of TikTok's fast scrolling feed seems at odds with this focus. Kind of like, where are they pulling from? Sustaining effort required for fitness routines. Like, you need to be watching this and in front of your phone, and you gotta pause it. You gotta, like, there's so many other functionalities of the video that I think TikTok doesn't have in this consideration. But I don't know. I don't like, for both of these companies, I undoubtedly seek the capitalizing on each other's user base is not going to win. Given Peloton's current financials and TikTok's like kind of all over the place and their current structure and their current audience, I personally think this is a dud move. I think they're not. I think it's going to come out short-lived. TikTok's not going to gain anything out of this, and Peloton's just going to burn money more by getting into this partnership, building content and advertising.
It seems like they're chasing brand equity right now rather than revenue. And I don't know if chasing brand equity is the right approach right now. They need to go for more revenue. Like maybe doing better merch. I don't understand what they're trying to accomplish by giving free fitness classes.
They did do a collab with Lululemon. I saw recently there's a Peloton Lululemon collab. And again, they've
had that for a long time.
Yeah. They're I agree with you. I think they just need a win, and brand equity is not going to be their win in this.
Let's move on. In the most unlikely collab of the century, Nike and Dove have launched a collaboration to build confidence in women called Body Confidence Sport. Great messaging. Not a fan of the name. That's just my opinion, though. Let's talk about the quality of this collaboration, though. They are bringing to light that girls are quitting sports at an alarming rate. And really, they're on a mission to help teenage girls become more confident in their bodies. Just be comfortable playing the sport that they love. They have partnered with notable fitness and lifestyle influencers. They've made a huge NYC launch, and it was quite the spectacle. They're using the hashtag Make Her Confident, which I do love. I think that's a really good name. So what do we think? Is this a dud or a stud, Salim?
Let's look at this in two different ways, right? I think one, in for the catch line, it's definitely a stud move, right? So definitely stud, but let's break it down into the two different segments we have here, right? So let's look at Nike. Nike and just this industry, right? This has long been more than just a shoe company. They are a cultural and lifestyle powerhouse, consistently pushing boundaries of what a brand can be. And they've basically become more than just a shoe company or a clothing company or a sportswear company. They're so big, and their brand equity. You know, we talked about brand equity in the last segment, but this is true brand equity, right? They could basically do no wrong in a sense of manner, right? Of like, hey, collabs or influencing people or doing better for the world, right? And this recent collab with Dove is a testament to that innovative spirit. And this whole market is just shaped up, right? Like if you look at just body confidence and the conversations around fitness and inclusivity in sports, it's kind of all across the board. And we've seen this through just like if you just take the segment of the shoe industry globally, every shoe brand across the globe has seen significant jumps. Nike 10%, New Balance 7%, Adidas 5%, On Cloud Running 40%, Salomon 25%, Hoka 30%. And a lot of that comes from women's influences, right? A lot of times these are our women's that are shopping or influencing their husbands to buy or partners to buy. My wife is the first to go figure out On Cloud in Hoka. Like she's got a pair. I still stick to Nike. But that growth reflects a broadening market and increasing demand, particularly around these brands. So I think the innovation and behind the Nike collab with Dove is an extension of that trend of like, hey, how can we use this brand for bigger? And I think it's a great holistic approach. But then the second part, which is I think my favorite, is this focus on women's sports. And a lot of times what people haven't noticed yet is women's sports are experiencing this unprecedented growth. I don't know if you heard the announcement about the NCAA double deal with NCAA ESPN deal. That's worth $65 million in women's sports coverage annually alone. That is almost triple what it was before. And we've seen bigger investments in WNBA TVs and MLS women soccer. I mean, women's sports are on its high, while you see men's sports just staggering at flat or maybe even dropping, right? So the timing is perfect. The Dove and Nike collab is it made in heaven that most people say, or that article that was originally published said, but I don't know if it's made in heaven, but certainly a very strategic and forward-thinking place, putting both brands at a different level and a different game altogether against all these other brands, and building that immense brand equity and joining forces. I mean, this is definitely a stud move for both Dove and Nike, and it just puts these guys in a different game.
Yeah, I think this is very on brand for Dove to go after the angle of building confidence in women, and I kind of talked about it in the my deep dive last week too about the ethos that Dove really carries is like going after the angle of helping women be more confident. Why I think it's a dud is just the quality of the launch, the quality of the like they're not addressing the elephant in the room, which is why women are quitting at an alarming rate. I truly think female sports has it's been in the news cycle in many negative ways. And you know, when you talk about having natural born male play female sports and that's okay, like why would a female still feel like people stand up for her? I'm like trying to find the right words to explain it without really pissing anyone off. But really, what I think is that it doesn't address it strong enough. It is the collab, and I think it would get a lot more traction if they say, "Women matter. Let's make sure that we protect women's sports for women." And maybe they can't say that, but they should. And I think that's what drives conversation is how do you get, because you have two daughters. I have a daughter. My daughter was in a co-ed soccer league and she almost wanted to quit soccer. She loved soccer, but she wanted to quit because she really felt like she couldn't compete with the boys. She's like, Dad, I'm not liking soccer anymore. And I at that point I was like, no, we're going to all girls league. So this is why people quit, is because they're having to deal with, these gender role issues and, all of this stuff. It's becoming more and more common for parents, and they realize that their kids don't want to play in under these circumstances. So I really wish some brand would face that head on. If you're really talking about using your ethos, use that, like talk about that. And so I just don't think it goes far enough. That's why I think it's a dud.
No, I think you bring a good point, and I think there is an evolution to this, and maybe it is opportunistic for both, but I think there's opportunity to capitalize on it, and if it's led by the right group, and not just a short term project, I think it'd go a long ways.
And I still stand by this. Nike makes the worst sub $120 shoe.
Oh man! Now they're all going to come out at us again on the comments, man.
I stand by it. Nike does not know how to make a good shoe under $120. They are not America's shoe anymore. Which two brands do you think should be collabing that are not yet? Can you think of any?
Who should collab? They should not. It's not collab.
I'd love to see like a Stanley Lululemon collab. That would actually be really cool.
Again, the yoga pant, yoga. Here's my challenge with Stanley: is this handle thing is annoying as shit to me. Like I can't imagine taking that to the gym, and I see people in the gym. Like I'm a guy that I take it. I've got a water bottle, and I just toss it in my gym bag while I'm working out. Right? It's not gonna drip or anything, but Stanley Cup, man, I don't know, dude.
Here's their $1 billion idea. Okay, Stanley Cup. You know how Lululemon has their bag that goes across the chest? They need to add a Stanley Cup with the strap going around, and then they can just kind of bend down and take a sip.
It's a thing. It's a thing. My wife showed it to me. Somebody on TikTok had it. It's definitely a thing. I've seen the little handle thing, purse-like Stanley. I like to see the smaller brands get collab with the big brands. Give them a big enough platform to go build their own
outlet to do some collabs would be. I mean, we're approaching a pretty tough economy. I think all the experts are saying that people are going to become a little bit more cautious with their spending. Dollar General or Dollar Tree, I'm not even joking about this, but doing some sort of collab with a brand that is for America, and doing something where people line up outside of Dollar Generals or Dollar Trees, and I don't think it's beyond us to see something like that. I think we will see something like that this year with a discount outlet doing a collab of some sort.
Chris and Emma doing a collab?
Not with Dollar General. Nope. All right, let's go to brands to watch.
Let's do it.
All right, my brand to watch is Lil Nas X. So Lil Nas X was he's Take Your Horse to the Old Town Road or whatever song that put him on the map. And then but he's been topping all the trending lists lately, like on Twitter, on TikTok, everywhere. Everyone's talking about him, and apparently he's found God again. So after his whole recent post stream has been about how the music industry wanted him to be satanic, and he went along with it for his personal wealth. And he's kind of building this anticipation up for his next song with Kesha, and how he's going to expose the agenda. The gay agenda is what he called it, from the music industry. So he's come out and said the industry made him act gay and worship Satan. He said that they would meet on Wednesdays in black cloaks and meet around a satanic symbol on the ground, and then drink blood from cups and stuff like that. And really, there was this greater plan to decrease the population of the world, and make everyone gay. So I want to make sure I make this very clear. This is clearly manufactured, but so was his first part of him being gay and showing signs of worshiping Satan, everything. We all have to understand that these brands or these icons do this time to time to get us talking. And magic happens in anticipation. So he's doing all of this leading up to the launch of his new single. And he's saying he's going to expose everything. So entertainment industry is constantly trying to find their next thing to talk about, and this is what they want us to talk about. So this is kind of that same obsession with gotcha journalism and exposing evil players of Hollywood and Jeffrey Epstein and this and that. And so this totally works in America, and I think Lil Nas X gets it, and he's just playing further into it. So he's going to be a brand to watch for me, just because he knows how to play the game.
Wait, I'm confused. Is he gay? Is he not gay? Like, do they make him gay? I'm so confused in this conversation.
He said he's not gay. It's something that he was forced to be by the music industry, so people would talk about him.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of this come out. I don't know. I mean, this whole like embedding information, kind of what you talk about, the gotcha journalism. If you tuck into the real things, and it's a lot of that's getting very cleared up, and it's quite / annoying, but also about time that somebody figured out that this is all nonsense. There's just so much noise that we can't tell anymore what's real, what's not real. Let's go to my Brando watch. Imagine harvesting crisp lettuce, juicy tomatoes, and fresh herbs right from your living room. No garden, no problem. Meet Gardyn. That's Gardyn with a Y. The revolutionary home gardening system that's turning heads and making garden dump proof. Because they use AI, if anyone knows me personally, and they know I love to cook, I'm the self-proclaimed Brown Ramsey. I think you've said that before in a couple episodes, but I'm tired of buying produce and herbs and watching all it go bad so quickly. Like, it lasts in the fridge for 3-4 days. You can watch some videos to make it last longer. It's annoying, but this product is revolutionary. It's no soil, no mess. They have everything is at your fingertips. It's an app, watches the plants, tells you which pot to put in the plant, when to water it. It is like I said, dummy proof, and it's freaking awesome looking. But it's not the brand that's not the brand and the product that I'm excited about. That it is. It's about the stand on food revolution, right? I think there's a lot of consumerism going around about just waste, and I just mentioned earlier, right? The whole ecosystem of hey, is global warming going to reduce products? And we've seen harvests is bad, we've seen droughts, but we need to figure out a way to be sustainable food, and I think this is going to be key. And I think this opens up the venue for other businesses to build stuff like this, because now they're violating the market. They're validating the market and allowing them to be bigger. And reduce that waste, minimize the carbon footprint. And it's going to launch a lot of competitors in this industry. And I'm excited about that part, where technology finally meets farm life and produce. And instead of making Beyond Meat and Impossible Meats, they're making real product that you could do at home in a consumer way. So Gardyn with a Y, Gardyn, by Brando Watch. Check them out. As soon as some point they'll get cheaper for me so I can go buy one. But I'm looking forward to this brand and other competitors that come out after it.
Honestly, I love this so much. I'm probably I agree with you. Once it does get cheaper, I'll probably go get it too. But I was just talking to my in-laws about this. So my mother-in-law, she gardens a lot, and it's still like, it seems like an obvious thing. Like, oh, you like you just plant seeds, you grow vegetables, and then you can cook with it. And it seems like a foreign concept for a lot of us that still go to grocery stores and everything. But she truly, like, a lot, I mean, almost, 80% of the vegetables that she uses, or 80-90%, they're all grown by her. And it seems like such a beautiful concept when you look at it, that why don't more of us do this? And it's really like, it takes a disruptor like Gardyn using technology to make it dump proof and foolproof, to just have us be able to grow our own stuff. I mean, how frustrating is it that you go to Kroger, you get some produce, couple days, it's not even a couple days, and everything goes bad. And it frustrates you. You just like don't even want to eat healthy. You don't want to eat, like, you just want everything frozen at some point. And so if you can just go to this garden in your home and just pull whatever you need on a day-to-day basis, I think there's going to be a day where that's commonplace again. We're all going to become our own. We're going to have our own AI farms, and I think this is genius. I'm really going to follow them now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you ever tried what your mother-in-law does. We've tried it like twice. Like we've got like brick little place to garden these tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff, and we feel miserably. It's more than just planting and watering. There's a lot of other things that happen out there that I don't understand. I don't have a green thumb, but it's hard work. But this, I've been following them for a little while now, and it's insane how easy they've made it.
No, it does take dedication. It does take dedication to grow your own food. And she's my mother-in-law is like, I mean, she treats those plants like they're her own kids. Like she talks to them, but that's what it takes is like you put love into it and it gives you love back. And she truly believes that about gardening. So I can't wait to see what technology will do to make it easy for all of us. All right, guys. So let's call it a wrap. This was quite the episode. We definitely made up for some lost time, not being around for a couple weeks. But we thank you guys for listening and supporting us. Please share the podcast whenever you can. It really gives us a little bit boost of morale whenever we see the podcast grow in numbers, and it really is. And so we see it working. But thank you guys very much for all the love and support. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay fabulous, guys.
Ciao.
Men go mad.
He's gone mad.
Madmen.
You're mad.
The man's mad.
Madmen.
I'm mad.